Hello, everybody. Wave 3 meteorologist Brian Good here for another edition of Snow Talk. Now, our webcam is not functioning yet with the new software, so you will not be able to see me for this post, which I assure you is a blessing. Here's the very latest on the radar. Let's talk about that first. Got some showers, rain showers, moving through Kentuckiana. Drizzle along the Ohio River. We'll see that continue. Notice the clearing, though, developing back into the Wabash. If we clear it out before sunrise, I think fog will be a problem. That's something we're going to be monitoring carefully through the early morning. Make sure to tune into Christy for more on that. Here comes the next weather maker across areas of the northern plain states. It's a very vigorous area of low pressure, in fact. It's going to be digging here across the Dakota. It's kind of a cold front with it. And this little guy is going to dig right into the Ohio Valley. As it moves in, we'll have the rain first. You see the rain already developing in areas of Nebraska. We'll have that rain first tomorrow afternoon and evening, and then we'll get the snow showers that blast in behind it as we head into tomorrow late evening into early on Wednesday. And then after that, we get another system that's not even on the map yet that will move in Thursday night and Friday with another chance for snow showers moving through the area. So here it is on Futurecast. It points out we cleared things out, but here comes the fog real quick to fill in. We'll watch that and see how locally dense that could be. We'll get some sunshine at midday, and then the clouds are back for the afternoon, and here comes a band of rain for the afternoon. But as I mentioned, it starts as rain and then goes to snow as the evening goes on across the area, and snow showers continue into Wednesday. And then as we into Thursday, we'll start to see the snow showers move in across the area from the northwest. That trend will continue as we into Thursday night and Friday, and another chance for some light snow into Friday morning's commute. So Wednesday morning commute and Friday morning's commute both have a chance for a light covering of snowfall, and we'll have to watch that. Now, as far as how much snow we're talking about, not a lot, and again, it's going to be very spotty in nature as we get to the next couple of days. There's going to be a chance for some light accumulations here locally. Notice the snow, though, it is forecast to develop to our south and east. I think this is probably going to be a little bit heavier than what GFS is showing, but a decent little snow band may set up here across areas of the Carolinas, North Georgia, into Washington, D.C. later this week. Something they don't see very often, but they're got a chance to see an EPS runner, as we call it, as we head into later this week for some snowfall. For us, it's mainly light snow is what we're talking about. But things still look interesting as we head down the road. This is a model of how the temperatures look in the northern hemisphere. We talked a lot about the polar vortex in recent days. And that's usually a polar vortex. It's the core, very cold air that sets up aloft in the atmosphere. We see that often. Sorry, the map's a little messed up there. But the polar vortex is constantly moving around in the northern North Pole area. And there are little chunks of it that kind of break off and they kind of swing through certain land areas. And we saw one that got stuck over us a few weeks ago that produced the really cold air over us as we were just after the new year. We've the cold shots this week, very much small little chunks of the polar vortex that come down, nothing major, just a couple little pieces that come down and keep us pretty chilly. What I've been looking at is what we call the stratospheric warming. And not to get too technical here on the video blog, but anytime you warm the air aloft into the areas of the Arctic Circle, you cause the polar vortex to be on the move, basically. And sometimes it gets split in pieces, or just the whole thing itself begins to move around the northern part of the hemisphere. We see signs of some significant warming developing in the Arctic as we have between now and February 1st. What that means to us is that the polar vortex is going to get very intense, very cold air, and it's going to be displaced. It is going to be on the move again, somewhere. Anywhere around this path in the northern hemisphere. But where's it going to end up? Well, latest indications are with the ocean water warming up here in the west coast, I've mentioned this before, that should push a ridge of high pressure over areas of western Canada into Alaska. So that would open the floodgates for the polar vortex, or a piece of it, to dive down into Canada. And we would feel the effects of that as we get into late January and especially into the month of February. We just do not know for sure if it's going to happen, but the signals are strong that something very interesting is about to take place in the Arctic and in the northern hemisphere when it comes to cold weather, and we've got to watch it carefully. It's not to hype, it's not to scare anybody or anything like that. It's to let you know that some brutally cold air is lurking, and the big question is, will the weather pattern support such a plunge back into the United States? And the data is leaning that way, and we just got to wait and see if that actually is going to happen or not. So if I had a bet right now, early February especially, is going to be a cold month. I would bet really high on that based on the data I'm looking at here for this evening. And when it comes to snow, we cannot forecast snow that far out in advance. All I can tell you is it'll be cold enough to snow. Whether it snows or not, that depends on daily weather patterns, and we just cannot figure that out. But we can look at the global pattern in a long-term sense, like I'm doing right now. We can do that well in advance and pick out some signals of something down the road. So those of you that are excited about winter weather, love winter weather, we've got a lot to still talk about when it comes to wintry weather in the coming weeks. And winter is far from over with here. So if you haven't had the big snow yet that you would like to have, the cards are still in your favor for something to be in play as we head through the next, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks here in the Ohio Valley. So stay tuned for more on that. In the meantime, just some minor snows and some cold days. Nothing too extreme. We can handle that. That's it for Snow Talk. We'll see how it all looks tomorrow.